Welcome back to Stole My Line in our Nolan
Marathon.
episodic freaking thing.
Yes. Hey, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Episode 4.
Episode 4 of this Nolan Marathon. And today we're talking about what movie drew.
Batman Begins.
Which, in fact, Batman does begin
It's
in this
true.
movie.
Yeah. Also,
can confirm.
what a fire right
What
now.
a fire. What?
We're on
What
a
a
roll
night.
right now.
We are on a roll. And I feel, Drew, this movie, I have not seen it in a long time.
Okay.
I watched The Dark Knight a lot more, and we are not going to talk about The Dark Knight.
Nope.
It's our rule. I'm going to try to talk about this movie only in the context of this movie, maybe a little bit with some other superhero tropes thrown in there.
Right.
But this movie was, I think, the first superhero movie I ever watched. No joke.
Ever.
So I must have been about
That's crazy.
10 years old. My dad was on some retreat that I was on to, and he let me watch Batman Begins and Iron Man, which is kind of a goated combo.
That is like a fundamental
Especially-
childhood thing.
I'm 22 now, so 12 years ago, there wouldn't have been a ton of superhero movies
Right.
like there is now to really pull from. So, I don't know. I was rewatching this movie and didn't realize I had this much nostalgia for a movie that I haven't seen in a long time. But I have a lot of nostalgia, and I'm very excited to talk about it. So
Yeah, that's a goated. Was that one night or one weekend?
that was, I think, one night. Actually, I think I also watched Avengers. I think I watched
Bro.
Batman Begins, Iron Man, and Avengers all in the same weekend.
That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy lineup. Especially for the time. But yeah, let's just hop into Batman Begins.
Let's do it.
Spoiler free. Hit me with just your thoughts. Like, how do you feel about this movie?
Okay.
Because I'm trying to think about it in the context of what year did this come out? 2000.
2005,
Wow.
which is the year I was born, by the way.
Yeah. All right.
That's
there you go.
pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I think you have to take this movie in context
Mm-hmm.
because if you compare it to The Dark Knight, which we're not going to do,
Yes.
if you compare it to MCU things, it's like there's so much comparison. But I think if you take this movie for what it is,
Yeah.
in 2005,
Yeah.
it's pretty dang good.
Yeah, 100%. And I think one of the things I wrote about this movie when I was taking notes on it as I was watching is that this is just a good origin story.
Yeah.
Like, this movie does a good job of establishing the central characters, the world that we're in, kind of the, Batman versus this underworld of crime. I mean, how he became Batman. I feel like this movie does a very good job of establishing all of that. It sets itself up for a series, for what ultimately becomes a
for
trilogy
sure,
too.
for sure.
So the movie has a little bit of that function. I think it does a great job.
Yep.
I think it does a great job. Like Christian Bale, Michael Caine will always probably be Alfred for me. I know there's other Alfreds.
Yeah.
Michael Caine is Alfred for me. But yeah, tell me more thoughts you've got.
I think my biggest critique
Yes.
is the pacing.
Yes.
Has always felt off every time I've watched it.
Really?
And and I don't even know what it is. I can't put my finger on it because it's like, I think what you said is true. Like, all the origin pieces are put here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's handled relatively well.
Yeah.
But the pacing just feels off.
Well, I have a comment on that when we get into spoiler talk, but I will say something I like about this movie that is non-spoiler related. The score is so
Who
good.
did the score?
Dude, I don't even know off the dome, but I think
about
the
to find
score
out.
is so good. I think, and I don't know, maybe it is a nostalgia thing too, but for like all of the musical themes in this movie and just the vibe of the music, it's very Nolan, but it really fits this movie in my mind.
Yeah. James Newton Howard, who's less well known, and then Hans Zimmer are both,
Okay,
are
well,
both
Hans
president.
Zimmer's pretty well known.
Yeah.
I should have guessed that in
Yeah.
retrospect. But yeah. Is there any other critiques you have? Any other thoughts you have?
I have a lot to say, but I think we need to rip the Band-Aid off here.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Batman Begins, go begin watching Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Just go for it. It's a good movie. It's a good watch.
It is good, for sure.
We'll get into more of the spoiler talk right now. Here's what I was going to say about the pacing.
Okay.
The beginning of the movie. I mean, you kind of start with the him as a kid, and it sets up a lot of the movie. That scene I kind of take, leave out of that. Then you have Bruce Wayne kind of going and starting to train.
Mm-hmm.
And Nolan does his time warp thing, and he goes back.
Right.
And there's not a lot of obvious flashback stuff. But
I
you
will say that there's not a lot of nonlinear storytelling in this movie.
Yeah, but the first 30 minutes is very nonlinear because you pick up.
That is true.
As like with Bruce Wayne in this prison thing, and then he goes to get trained by Ra's al Ghul, and then you flash back to like his parents getting killed, and then you go through. He's a bit older. He tries to kill. Like you go through that whole sequence, and you figure out that's how he ended up where he is now.
Yeah.
And that pacing, I think, is so different from the rest of the movie because Prestige is like choppy the whole way through.
Right.
But then once you kind of get to the end of the Ra's al Ghul training, it's linear the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, but maybe that's a thought of why it was a little choppy for you or felt weird. I don't know.
I agree, and I think another criticism I have is I kind of wish they just stuck with the villain.
Really?
Which I don't know how I feel about that statement, but like I like Scarecrow a lot as the villain.
Yes.
I wish he was utilized more.
Yeah.
And
that's
not
fair.
just kind of like, because here, like, I was watching this movie, and obviously I knew it was going to happen. So it's like Scarecrow's building up as the villain, and then it's kind of the rug's pulled out. It's like, oh wait, he's not. But Liam Neeson doesn't show back up till like the 35 minutes left, and it's like they have the fight on the train,
and then the movie's kind of over.
And then it's just done.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I feel like I don't want to get too far into looking ahead at the rest of this trilogy, but kind of the other two movies not struggle with a similar thing, but have multiple villains. Every other one of these movies has multiple villains, 100%.
Who's the one in Dark Knight?
We're gonna cut this part out. We're back. We had to have a discussion off camera. We're gonna clip that, but yeah. So the whole trilogy kind of deals with that.
No, I agree.
But I do agree. I think for having as many villains as it does, it still does some pretty, like, I don't know. It executes well in the acrobatics narratively.
I agree.
To get these villains kind of in place when they need to be.
Yeah.
But I agree too with I wanted more time with Scarecrow and honestly with Ra's al Ghul. Like, having more time with each of those villains would have made it feel more impactful when Batman actually defeats them.
And I feel like we spent a decent amount of time with like Carmine Falcone too.
Yeah,
when it's like
it's kind of like Batman's first takedown.
And like I can see where they're going. It's like he's starting to take down the underbelly of Gotham, but it's like I think there's just so many other moving things. It's like I kind of wish he got to Gotham.
Yeah.
And I know this like isn't really comic accurate, but like Scarecrow was the mob boss to some degree.
Yeah.
Or like he's pulling the strings, which I guess he kind of is. But there's such a little development of Scarecrow that it's like,
yeah.
Oh no.
I definitely agree. This movie has a lot going on, and it's like 2 hour and 20 minute runtime.
Yeah.
I still think it ultimately executes everything really well. I think the whole master plan of how to like get Gotham to basically implode, I thought that was really cool. Like the flowers at the beginning being like the toxin or whatever that gets injected in the air. I feel like all of that is really well thought through and is a cool thing for Batman to try to stop. But at the same time, I don't know. There's still a lot of disjointed ways it kind of gets there, maybe.
Right. I do think thematically this movie is pretty solid.
Yeah.
I think like Batman's wrestling with fear of the whole movie. That's Scarecrow's weapon. And then he conquers that. So it's like, and like wrestling with like, how do I use my identity? How do I use like the mask? Which I think the line Rachel says at the end of like, like Batman's your real persona.
Yeah.
And like, this is your mask, pointing to Christian Bale's face. I think all that is super interesting and well done. Yeah,
very interesting. So one other thing I want to touch on that I really like the side characters in this movie.
Yeah,
I really like Alfred. I really like, what is it, Mr. Fox?
Lucius Fox.
Yeah, Lucius Fox. I really love Gary Oldman as oh my gosh, why am I blanking?
Jim Gordon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chief Jim Gordon. I really like. Well, he's not chief yet, actually.
Yeah.
But I really like all of those side characters. I think they all do a great job.
I mean, they're all above A-list actors.
Yeah.
Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman, Gary Oldman as your side characters
is crazy.
Is insane.
Yeah, insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
This movie does a very grounded approach on Batman.
True.
Does it work?
Okay, what do you mean by that, though?
So, Batman's obviously a superhero.
Right.
And if you look at any of the comics, like, it's not very accurate to what someone could accomplish in real life.
100%.
And like Scarecrow, Joker, a lot of these villains are like Mr. Freeze are very comic booky in the comics. Mr. Freeze isn't in this movie, but this movie does a very grounded take on Scarecrow. You know, the series later on Joker, on Bane, like does a very grounded take on all of that. Do you think it works? Like, I think it works overall, but I am curious if you think that it could be executed better, or if you wish it had been more comic booky. I don't know.
And I don't know if this is a popular opinion, I'm not gonna lie, but I love grounded superhero movies.
Yeah.
So like Batman, Daredevil, not really Spider-Man, actually.
Not really Spider-Man.
And I love Spider-Man, which kind of hurts my heart. But like the Batman, Matt Reeves' Batman is like one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I do think Nolan, because I think the reason I mentioned 2005 in the beginning is like the superhero landscape at the time was like Raimi Spider-Man.
You had the original like late 80s, 90s Batman stuff, which kind of got really campy towards the end of it.
Yeah, so campy.
And they were kind of campy to begin with, but still good.
But like the live action scene at the time was like Raimi Spider-Man, the Fox's X-Men OG trilogy.
Yeah.
None of that is grounded.
Yeah.
It's all very kind of up in the sky, like...
Yeah.
I mean, you got all the campiness with Raimi, and then the just craziness with the mutants. And then Nolan comes in and is like... I don't think it seems as pivotal now, but I think it was then.
Yeah.
It's like...
And these movies kind of hold up better than some of the modern superhero movies, too.
Oh, 100%.
Like, visually, thematically... And I keep saying these movies. It's so hard not to talk about the other two.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
I really think this movie still holds up. And it's probably a better origin story than most of the other, at least more recent superhero movies I've seen. Maybe that's a bad take, but...
No, I think it's... Here's the thing. Bro, my ADD brain just went crazy. I was about to derail us completely. I totally agree that it holds up better.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Nolan is so invested in character.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think as we've watched more like his filmography in order, I think we've like seen that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he poured so much time into the character of Batman, why he's doing what he's doing, and how it affects others.
Yeah.
Which I think most modern origin stories just don't take the time to do.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, completely agree. Last thing I'll say is that this movie has a ton of payoffs. Like, there's so many full circle moments in this movie, it's almost laughable.
Yeah, it is.
Like, when Lucius Fox gets fired, and he's like, the guy that fires him or whatever is like, didn't you get the memo? And then at the end of the movie, he's like, didn't you get the memo? Yeah. There's so many of those moments in this movie that it was almost distracting towards the end of it. I agree.
And Michael Caine had a bunch of lines in the end that was kind of like to the audience and not to Batman.
Yes.
To Christian Bale.
Yes.
So it's like there is, and like I think that's the campiest this movie gets.
Yes.
Of like kind of the fourth wall breaks.
Yeah, 100%. The movies.
Do you think that's bad though? Like,
no, those moments are still enjoyable.
Yeah.
And maybe I've seen this movie enough times to where, like, if I hadn't, I wouldn't be thinking about it the first time I watched it.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
But yeah, let's rank it. In Nolan and in our personal ratings.
Right, for sure.
Currently, we have number 1, Memento. Number 2, Following. Number 3, Insomnia.
No.
Did we get it mixed up?
We reversed it.
I thought
we argued for a little bit, but
we did. All right.
Memento,
Insomnia,
Following.
All right. Where are we?
I feel like this one's pretty easy.
I feel good about slotting this in the number 2 spot.
I
currently.
Completely agree.
Not that it is like leagues better than Insomnia, but I still say it's better than Insomnia.
I think Memento, Batman Begins, Insomnia, Following.
I feel good about it.
I do so.
All right. Let's rank it in our actual rankings. I will personally own this on Blu-ray, but
I think streaming.
I feel good about streaming too. This is a good watch. It's a good Batman movie. It's not the best Batman movie. It's not the best Nolan movie.
Right.
But it's still great.
I think if you're trying to collect the trilogy,
which is what I will be doing,
I can get behind that.
Yes.
But as a movie,
you do kind of need this movie to really understand the ins and outs of the next two as a whole.
Yeah.
Less The Dark Knight, more The Dark Knight Rises. But
yep.
All right, well, hey, I feel good about that.
I do so.
What are we reviewing tomorrow?
We are doing Prestige, which is like one of my favorite movies of all time.
And we're gonna just get on that. So
we're actually filming it in like 30 seconds.
So hey, take a break.
Enjoy the film.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
We will see you tomorrow.